Hi, this is Aslam Charania. I'm a business multiplication coach, and these days I'm working on creating a community platform for consultants, and the name of that platform is Leap Circle. So, these videos that you're watching are part of the Leap Circle community. Now, today I'm going to talk about learning domains for business consultants. Now, as a business consultant, there are a lot of people who are practicing business consultants, and there are many who aspires to be a business consultant someday. Of course, we can be a business consultant only if we have a deep domain expertise. But at the same time, that one time expertise or maybe whatever you have learned in last 10 years is not sufficient. You will, as a consultant, if you want to help the entrepreneurs, you will have to continuously and constantly upgrade your knowledge, bring changes in your own worldview, in your own way of or your working style, in the style with which you are bringing solutions, developing solutions for your clients. So as you know, if I have a knowledge of 2020, it might not work in 2021. In 2021, I might be facing completely new challenges, a new set of challenge, and for that I'll have to come up with out of the box solution. And that out of the box solution does not come out of air, but it comes when I am constantly learning and understanding what's happening across the world in different sectors and in different technologies. And from that constant and continuous learning, I realize that a particular kind of problem faced by my client can be solved through this new technology or through the insight shared by a particular domain expert. So continuous learning is very critical requirement if you really want to be successful in business consulting. Now today the harsh reality is that 80%, I think maybe 90% consulting assignments stop midway. They are not completed. The clients are not happy. They discontinue the project. It does not produce the desired results. And this is true especially with the SME segment. So if you aspire to be a business consultant someday, or you are a business consultant and you want to increase your understanding and your capabilities to help SME entrepreneurs. See, the ultimate purpose to become a business consultant is to help the entrepreneurs excel in their business. And if we are unable to achieve that result, we ourselves won't be satisfied with our own practices. And we will have a guilt or regret that our knowledge could not be utilized in the right areas and it has not produced the desired results for the entrepreneurs who were paying you as a business consultant. So what are the learning domains that business consultants should focus upon? But before we talk about it, couple of quotes on the importance of learning. And this has kind of become a very strong guiding parameter for me. Whenever I look at myself, I look at this quote and say, okay, there's still a lot to learn. Now, one such statement is, and this is one of my uh, favoritist probably, is never stop learning in life, because life never stops teaching. So life will never stop teaching you new lessons. But if you stop learning, you would be obsolete, you would be outdated. But the society is moving on, then the other people who are learning will move with the time, and I would get stagnant and stuck somewhere. So never stop learning in life, because life never stops teaching, and that's a very important statement. And my another favorite is Alvin Toffler, where he says the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So if you don't know how to learn new things, number one, every day, at the same time, if you don't have an ability to forget whatever is unnecessary, obsolete, outdated, the old ways of working, the old ways of doing things, the old solutions, if you're unable to forget it and drop it today, here, right now, and learn, relearn new things. So if you are unable to learn, unlearn, that's forgetting, and then relearning, the same problem that you used to solve with the X kind of idea yesterday, today the same problem has to be solved with Y and not with X, and you have to forget the X and you have to learn Y so that you can solve the problem differently. So these two are very important statements that always drives me. And I'll give you another analogy why constant learning matters a lot for a business consultant. And that is about, if you look at this laptop or computers for that matter, they were created by human minds. Now computers are very powerful. Um, Computers can compute, calculate, it has memories, it has software, it can analyze, it can now generate creative ideas, with the help of artificial intelligence, it can do much more than what we could ever imagine. But this computer or a laptop has a limitation. It is in hardware, but it won't be able to perform if it does not have the right software. Even if I buy a latest version with all great configurations, and if I load it with 2000 software, it won't work. It needs 2020 software or 2021 software. Similarly, my mind also has limitation. This brain is an hardware. It only can function if I upgrade it with software, and that software for brain is the knowledge that I acquire, the information that I gather from different sources, and that goes as a food for thought, and then the processing happens in my mind and my mind is able to develop new ideas. So the computer, which is super powerful, is limited because it cannot perform if the right software is missing. Similarly, our brains are even more powerful, maybe 1,000 times powerful than the computer system, but it also has limitations. It will stop working if we don't feed it with the latest information and knowledge every day. So that says everything. So it's very important to continuously learn. Now, what should you learn and how should you learn? So number one is read a lot. Now these days we have e-books and audiobooks, but while I'm listening to an audiobook, my attention is going here and there. I'm focusing on three different things. My listening is happening along with my social media interaction, and we are unable to concentrate the way we should be concentrating. So even today, having a hard copy book in your hand and reading, nothing can beat that as a learning source. When you are reading with a hard copy, you are reading between the lines because your concentration is great. Your mind, your eye, your hand, everything is concentrated. All your senses are focusing on that reading when you have that hard copy book in your hand, which is not possible when you have this ebook. But you can also read ebooks and you can listen to audiobooks. As far as you are learning, everything is good. But yes, the amount of knowledge that you will gather by reading it practically, having a physical book in your hand, would vary to your ebook learning and through your audiobook listening. But important is that you are reading, whether you read on screen or you have a hard copy book. Now what will you read? Read the best minds, because you are a business consultant. So if I want to learn something about strategies, I'll read Jack Trout. If I want to learn something on leadership, I'll prefer reading Azim Premji and Jack Welch. If I want to read something about management, I would prefer reading Peter Drucker. If I want to read something about creativity and innovation, I would rather prefer reading Tom Peters and Edward de Bono. So every subject, if I want to read something about entrepreneurship, I would read Sam Walton, Richard Branson, Kishore Biani. Maybe I will refer to the speeches of Mukesh Ambani, and I would read something about Jeff Bezos, because these are the kind of entrepreneurs. If I want to read about inventors, that they are those inventors who are going to transform the entire humanity, then I would rather prefer reading from something that Elon Musk has shared, or what Peter Diamandis is doing these days. So, but I'll have a right mix. So when I want to, I see, if as a consultant, when I want to be resourceful and I want to be in a position to solve multi-dimensional problems of my client, I should have the right mix where I am reading about strategy, leadership, entrepreneurship, management as a complete package, and I'm also reading about leadership. So that's my mix, because I'm into a profession where these aspects are very, very critical and important for me. So have a right mix. At times we read only what we like. So I have met a lot of professions and I ask them whether do you read, and they say yes, we read. But what do they read? They read books of Chetan Bhagat or maybe um, Robin Sharma. I find those books are great, and they have shared their knowledge based on their own in-depth experience, but they are not the business books. If you want to be a business consultant, of course you can have a leisure reading also, but when you purposely want to enhance your knowledge, you need to focus on the right subjects, not the books that you like, but the books that will help you to take a leap in your career and move ahead and deliver excellent results. At the same time, focused approach is must, because there are lakhs of subjects and lakhs of books. You can't read everything and anything. You would also start reading a book on relationship. You would read book on parenting. You would also read book on self-help and how to build your confidence. Life is short. The time that we have reading is only half an hour or 1 hour a day. You don't have much time, and because of this shortage of time, scarcity of time, we'll have to narrow down our focus. We'll have to understand that what are the 3-4 domains in which we need to maximize our learnings, and we need to focus only on that domain, on those selected 3-4 domains, and read books only of those domains, so that at least we develop an in-depth insight of few concepts, rather than reading about 10 different things and knowing nothing. So it's very important. So reading is important, but at the same time, have the right mix and have a very, very focused approach. Don't try to read anything and everything. Number 2 is learn from real life case studies and stories. So of course it's good to read books, but at the same time, how Mr. Arunachalam created this. Arunachalam is the padman on whom the movie was based, the original inventor of that whole concept, the whole technology, or how Sanjeev Bakchandani created Naukri.com, or how Balaji Wafers has created such great business, how Jyoti Sensi is doing. Now, there are a lot of books that Rashmi Bansal has wrote, and there are a lot of other authors. Even I have published 3 books on after interviewing entrepreneurs. I have covered stories of Kayam Churna, Duke's Biscuits, Karachi Bakery. Now these entrepreneurs, they started from scratch and they built their enterprises. So it's better that you read more real life case studies and success stories, so that you get a practical feel of how these successful enterprises of today were created, what kind of struggle they have been through, how could they manage to survive, and today what is their position and what's their world view and what's their next vision, based on which you can help your client to understand that, see, these are the entrepreneurs around you and they are doing extraordinary business with a very different mindset. And when you interact with such entrepreneurs or read about them, it gives you an extraordinary sense of in fact it gives you a very practical feel of what it means to be an entrepreneur and how an entrepreneur thinks, what are their mindsets, what are their priorities, what appeals to them the most. So the more realistic books and realistic case studies and success stories or even failure stories you read, the better it is for you as a consultant. Rather than reading anything else, it's better to focus on these areas. Learn from the speeches and presentations of entrepreneurs and experts. So you have Azim Premji presenting in some CII event, or you have Nandan Nilekani speaking on a Thai platform, or you have Mukesh Ambani delivering a speech somewhere, and those speeches are available online on their websites on different platforms. Maybe Bill Gates addressing a crowd, Bill Gates delivering a talk on the TED platform, or XYZ, he's talking about social contribution. So the presentations and speeches of the great entrepreneurs and experts in different fields, try to absorb as much as you can, because that will help you to have a different mental capacity. It will help you to develop a different mental capacity with which you would be in a position to solve the problems of your client the way no one else can do it. And these are very different capabilities. If you are hard worker even in the learning domain, and you invest uh, as much time as possible onto it, and you are focused and you are focusing on particular domains and not wasting your time on unnecessary subjects, probably I think you will develop that expertise. Another excellent domain through which you learn a lot is networking. Now, always network with bigger and better people. So, you are a business consultant, but somebody has been into consulting for 25 years or 15 years and has been very successful as a consultant, or at least has a rich experience. Connecting with them can help you, because you might be a fresher, you might have invested 3 5 years in this industry, or you are still looking forward to become a consultant someday. So developing contacts with them, networking with them, then networking with top professionals from leading organizations. Now there's some organization which has implemented ERP in a very different industry, and someday you might be delivering your services to an entrepreneur from that same industry. And if you have contact and network, you can source the information and knowledge from the larger organization through a professional, and through that information you can refine and may develop create a suitable solution for your smaller organization to whom you are going to serve. So networking is very important. Network with bigger and better entrepreneurs, network with bigger and better experts in different domains, network with consultants, great consultants, network with sound business coaches, network with community leaders, network with social contributors, people who have a lot of wisdom, people who know what core ideology is all about, what business ethics is all about, what spirituality at workplace is about, what entrepreneurship is all about, what technology are coming in, and with that information how the larger organizations are using the technology. If you can know it from the top professionals from that organization or an entrepreneur, you fetch that information and then you help the smaller organizations. So it's very important to network and learn from the best minds around you in your ecosystem. um, as much you learn, you still would lack something. And to fill those skill gaps, my advice is to always have a mentor with you. You're stuck with a particular consulting assignment, maybe a particular kind of client is not getting convinced with your services. Maybe you are unable to solve a problem, maybe you are unable to develop a right tool or a process or a system through which client would get great results. If you have mentors, maybe your client is behaving abnormally and emotionally is very unstable, and today he's very positive, the other day he's very pessimistic about things, and today he's talking very positive and gaga about your service, and the other day he criticizes you, and you won't be able to understand how to handle that person. That's where role of mentor is very important. Your mentors can help you to sail through the all kind of experiences, and how to manage the highs and lows within yourself and in the client's organization and in the client's mind. So mentoring always helps. So, and that's one of the best way to learn. Now, as many sources I have shared, one of the best source of learning is having an exposure. Travel a lot, attend as many exhibitions as you can, attend as many events related to entrepreneurs, where entrepreneurs are going to gather and they are going to discuss, learn, share, network. Get a decent exposure, expose yourself to the entire ecosystem, because that's where you will come to know about latest technologies, latest concepts, latest business models, latest experts, latest tools, about present day strategies, about how the world economic scenario is changing, how the global economy is behaving, how the Indian economy is going to behave. A lot of discussion happens on these platforms, and when you go for exhibitions you come across different technologies, and that information you can pass on to your client and help them. Or maybe next time you take your client along with you to those exhibitions and help them see the new technology firsthand. You can take contacts of exhibitors and then ask your client to get in touch with them. Your client does not have time. You have to remove time and have the decent exposure, so that through your traveling, through your networking, through your exposure, you can fill that gap for your entrepreneur, and always ensure that your client remains contemporary, their organization remains contemporary, and it is always stable and strong. That's our role. So in exposure, visit different factories, go to a manufacturing unit. Even in manufacturing, go to a food product manufacturing, engineering product manufacturing, chemical manufacturing. Just go to different industries and see how they are working, what kind of technologies they are using. Interact with entrepreneurs, interact with top professionals, interact with experts. Go to exhibitions, attend seminars, attend business events. And also, I think when you are new to consulting industry, uh, give free advices to entrepreneurs. So visit an entrepreneur, visit their plant, see what problems are, give them free suggestions. And while you give suggestion, they would also argue with you, and they'll share a lot of information, and you will develop different insights. You will get to know a lot about that particular client's or the entrepreneur's organization, how it is behaving, how the entrepreneur is thinking, what are their mental blocks, what is the root cause of their problems. So nothing can beat the exposure side, because it is more practical, it is more relevant, contemporary. And today, if you want to solve your problem, it's important to have today's information, and that can only come from exposure. So these are the learning domains that can help you to remain very competitive and be very successful in consulting industry. Now, for learning and exposure, you need time. Now, Peter Drucker says that any sound or wise entrepreneur would invest 75% of their time on profit center and 25% time on their cost center. Now, profit center means markets where you have customers, where you have competition, where you have competitors people, where you have information about new technologies, where you know how your customers buying behavior is changing, what are the new requirements of your customer. So 75% of the time should be spent by an entrepreneur in the field. And cost center is their factories, offices, warehouses. Entrepreneurs should not waste much of their time on factories, because it's just a cost center. You spend money over there. Money comes from market, so market is a profit center. The same is true for consultants. Your 30, 40, 50% time you are spending with your client, but 50% of your time you are traveling, you are learning, you are gaining new experiences, and you are always in the market observing the new changes. If say you are providing consulting to somebody in Mumbai entrepreneur, other entrepreneurs or competitors won't allow you in their factory, but you can go to Delhi and meet somebody from the same industry that your client belong to. That factory or that industry has to be maybe that their manufacturing unit is bigger than your clients, and they are using latest technologies. You somehow build a relationship and go and see firsthand how they are running their business and what kind of technology they are using. So the more you travel, the more you network, the more value you would be able to add to your clients, and that's very, very important. So I hope that you are enjoying these videos that I'm creating from time to time, and the kind of topics that I'm selecting. If there are other topics on which you want to know more from me, please share your comments. Please share your queries and questions and the topics on which you want me to create videos. And for that, you have to connect with me. You have to subscribe my YouTube channel. You have to connect with me on different social media platforms where you can share your feedbacks with me. And if you are finding this useful and you want more such content, of course, for that also you have to be constantly in touch with me, so that anything that I release is you are the first person to get a notification about it. Now, if you want to develop your career as a business consultant, if you are a professional and thinking about I want to be a business consultant someday, or you are a business consultant but you are struggling in your consulting assignments and you want to improve, then I have created a community for consultants in the name of Leap Circle. And this I have created based on my 15-year long experience, and I've been talking about it always, so I will not talk much about it. And on this platform, you'll get three-dimensional support with which I am 100% sure that you would be able to successfully uh, launch yourself as a business consultant and stay in this industry for many years to come, and you would be very effective, and you would be absolute value addition to the entrepreneurs and their businesses. So the three-dimensional support is coaching, where I share a lot of, I've created a lot of training programs where what should be the consulting project flow, how should you assess the business, how should you what should be the interpretation of data, how it should be done, how the business the solution has to be designed and delivered, or at least presented to the client, what kind of clients we should never work with, what client to choose and what not to choose. There are a lot of things are part of these coaching programs. Apart from that, if you are on a consulting assignment and you are facing some problems and you have some mental issues, psychological issues where you are unable to handle the attitude of your client, you can ask me any question and I'll mentor you on your consulting projects. And you also have a community support where there are a lot of people who are into consulting domain, and they would be happy to help each other, happy to share the information with each other, happy to learn from each other, and happy to partner and collaborate with each other. So coaching, mentoring, and community support can help you establish yourself as a business consultant better than any other way that you try to do it. And I have created Leap Circle for a sole reason, and that is my mission. And my mission is to develop 10,000 high caliber and mission driven business consultants by 2025. And these 10,000 entrepreneurs, if they develop 10 entrepreneurs, probably my larger goal of transforming 1 lakh SME entrepreneurs into architects of modern India would be achieved. So if you join this journey, you indirectly are also contributing towards my larger goal and larger mission, and I am helping you achieve your goal of becoming a business consultant, a very successful and effective business consultant. I hope you are enjoying all this, and if you are serious about developing your career or improving in your consulting practices, please connect with me, stay in touch with me, subscribe this channel, and please keep sharing your feedbacks and inputs with me. Thanks for watching this video.